Okay, so we're on page 2 now of your painting techniques, and the top 3 4-inch squares at the top are going to be blending times 2. So we're going to do this one twice, and then I'm going to show you how to start doing the spheres. So we'll start with our white, gray, and black sphere, which I'm just, for brevity's sake, going to call the gray sphere. So the colors that I am going to start with are white, blue, and black. Now, you do not have to do white, blue, and black for these first 2. You could choose to do a different combination. For the gray sphere, you have to do white, black only, and gray. And I'll show you how to mix gray here in a moment. So for these 2 though, you can pick whichever color. I am going to do white and blue and maybe a little bit of black because those are the colors I picked. The other thing to think about here is brush selection. As always, we need to be thinking about the brushes that we are using. So I know that we have a series of flat brushes that you were given. I do have a recommendation that you try to use the flat brushes for the blending technique. I think it just works better. You also are going to need water, of course, paper towels, and then if you have like a reusable towel that you have been using, grab that as well. That is really helpful to have on hand for the first 2. We'll talk about how to make a circle here in the sphere in just a moment. So again, I'm actually going to pick my biggest one here, my biggest flat brush. I am going to get it a little bit damp. So I'm dipping it in my water and then I am just kind of dabbing it off, okay? I'm gonna zoom in on this first square here. So let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. When we blend, the idea here is to create a smooth gradation from one color to the other, and this requires you to work quickly. So I'm actually going to start with my white. I'm going to do white up at the top. And you want to have enough paint on the paper that you can actually blend it. So this is, I'm using a significant portion of paint here. I'm not going really thin. Now I need to wipe off that excess paint and I'm going to clean my brush off. You will notice that there's a lot of brush cleaning in blending. So cleaning my brush. Now I'm gonna grab blue and I'm gonna put my blue down right next to my white. Again, I'm not trying to get my blue into my white just yet. I'm getting my blue down. Cleaning my brush. And then grabbing my black. Okay, a little bit more black on there, just so we have some stuff to blend. Now, cleaning my brush yet again, and then I'm going to start to blend. So I'm going to take, and right where those 2 colors meet, I am going to blend back and forth, and I'm going to pull this down into the blue and up. Now, in working with paper, you're going to find that this is actually going to dry faster than you can possibly believe, and it's going to be tricky. So again, I cleaned my brush again. Okay. So now we're starting to see a gradation form. Just continually making sure that we're working with a cool, clean brush. So okay, we can see that we've started to get a little bit of a gradation there. I probably talked a little bit too much and my paint dried, because I also probably didn't put enough on my paper. So again, being aggressive with your paint application now is really important. Okay. So let's see what happens in this square. So it says blending ×2. So what we're going to do here is we are going to put down and blend just like we did in this one. I would suggest you use the same colors. Number one, you already have them on your palette. Number two, it'll allow you to see the difference of what happens when you go over this a second time. So again, I've got a clean brush. I'm gonna get it a little damp. And then I'm gonna grab some white paint. And again, making sure that I have enough white paint on my paper to blend is key here. Cleaning my brush off again. Grabbing my blue. It's not enough. I'm gonna really go to town here with my blue. Another brush clean. And some of that black. Okay. Okay. Brush clean one more time. Actually, I lied. You're going to continually be cleaning your brush. Okay, now we're going to try this again. So I am going to, yes, see how much nicer that's blending there because I have enough paint. And then we're going to just kind of come down here to the black and bring it back up. Now, you see we've got a hard line there. I'm going to clean my brush again. If you start to get those hard lines, cleaning that brush and working quickly to try to smooth that out is really important. Again, cleaning brush, and then I'm going to try to blend this down a little bit more. Okay. Oops, got a little streak there. Ooh, a lot of streaky because I didn't wash my brush. Let's try that again. Let's grab a little bit more blue. That's okay. You can always grab a little bit more paint. Okay, so there we go. We have a gradation. We have just 1 layer and 2 layer. Now, in order to do the second layer, we're gonna have to let this dry. So we're gonna come back to this in just a few minutes after our paint has fully dried on our paper. Okay, so we're back and we're going to do our second layer of blending now that this paint has dried. So we're repeating the exact same process. I'm going to grab some white paint, and we have learned that we need a good portion of white. So being aggressive there with our paint application. I'm going to grab the blue. And now the black. Clean brushes each time I am changing colors there. Then I am going to take my brush and I am going to start to blend. So I'm really just doing where those two colors meet initially to try to create that smooth gradation. I'm not going too far up into the white. I'm not going too far down into the blue. Just kind of that gentle, very quick back and forth. Now I feel like I need to clean my brush. So I can smooth this out a little bit more. Again, and after I clean my brush off, I'm drying it on a towel. So I've got my damp cloth. It's not damp, but it's damp now. I've got my rag, my old cleaning rag that I'm using. Here. Okay. I still have a significant bit of blue there, so I'm gonna clean my brush again. Make sure you guys can hear that tapping. And pull that blue down here. Try to smooth that gradation out. I will say triple gradations are tricky, especially when you're working in a space this tight. But they are something that we do have to do in art. So it is nice to get that skill under our belt. Okay, now I think you guys can already see how nice the gradation is compared to the one on the left there. So if we look between the two gradations, this one just looks more smooth. Whoops. I was just going to try to smooth out that chunky little white paint there. This one on the right looks more smooth. It looks more blended. We're not seeing that paper peek through. So that's why it's really nice to see, and this is a really impactful way to really tell the difference between something that has the gradation done twice or the blending done twice as opposed to just the single time. So remember, this is the one we only did once, and this is the one we have done twice now. So a pretty significant difference in quality and craftsmanship. Okay, so for the gray sphere, you need to draw some sort of sphere-like shape. So you can use a cup, you can use, I'm going to be using a can of beans. So I'm going to be putting that in the center, but you need to use something circular. And we don't want it to be small. We want it to really fill that space. So the top part of a, drinking glass, or let's see if I can get my camera to focus again, or a good size can is a great circle template if you don't have a circle template at home. And amazingly enough, I cannot find my circle template, hence the can of beans. So with the gray sphere, what we need to do is we need to move from dark to light. And in order to do that, we are going to put a good amount of paint, and we're going to do white. This is going to be very, very similar to, think back to your color packet from freshman year. Again, really pulling on those skills from when you were a freshman. And I'm going to put white paint, and a good amount of white paint. Oops. Try not to rush here too much. I already did this video once and everything went pear-shaped, so I'm re-recording. So that's why you don't see the gradations from before. Okay. And again, making sure that we have enough white paint on there to blend later. I'm going to grab my black now. And again, paying attention to my edges. Okay, put a little bit more black paint on there so that we have something to blend. Now black is really an intense color, so you'll be surprised at how far just a little bit of black paint will go. So now right where those two colors meet, I'm going to start to move, and eventually my goal is to blend kind of in this slight C shape in order to create my gradation. And being careful, thinking about my edges here, and going back and forth. Really kind of paying attention to my brush strokes. Now again, you may find that you need to clean your brush off. So where that gray has now started to appear, I need a clean brush because I don't want to keep pulling black into my white, but I want to pull and soften that gray edge. This is going to help me get that nice gradation. Now look at my brush. You can see that one side is a little bit darker than the other, and that's because I'm not like flipping my brush back and forth. I'm being very conscious about where those bristles are falling. So I've started to get a nice gradation there. I'm going to clean up that white bit as well here in this thicker white bit. Now I got a little hard white edge there at the bottom, so I'm going to clean that up too. And again, you know, when in doubt, a clean brush can do wonders. Okay, that looks pretty good. I know it's not showing up maybe totally on camera, but there is some gradation here from the gray into the black, and it's smoothed out. So you are going to repeat this process on the following row. You get to pick the colors though. So if you wanted to do blue into green, or blue into black, or red into yellow, please, that is your option for the following row.